In the upper right here in the blue for Onsyde Gaming. He only needs one map. It's Maru. And the bottom left in the red, trying to force Basilisk to an ace match. It's Serral. And the dude looks mad. Oh man, this is such a cool matchup here. And there's a lot of implications because Maru has not looked good recently. That's the number one thing to talk about. Maru lost 3-0 to DRG in the Harrisonburg University tournament, the $3,000 tournament that happened last week. He got knocked out in round 1 of the GSL. And then there comes news, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, very recently, that says, actually, you know what, Maru's pretty sick. He has not been feeling well, and we don't know how long that's been. We don't know if that's just, you know, a flu or something longer term, something more serious. Just a crank video said Maru's been sick, and well, maybe that's why he lost to DRG the other day. I don't know. Don't know if that explains the GSL though. Anyways, he's got to take one map off Serral, and that is not the easiest things. That's not the easiest thing to do, even at the best of times. Because realistically, Maru beats everyone except for Serral. He has this incredible win rate against pretty much every player in the world, and then just the Serral effect happens. And if you look at their head-to-head, as I'm pulling this up right now, but it has been, at least in big events, it has been very Serral favored. And let's actually see what this is. It is, I'm guessing it's like... Yeah, Serral's 31-16 in score against each other. And Maru, holy crap. Maru has not beaten Serral since November 2021 in the King of Battles Grand Final. Which, by the way, in my mind is still one of the greatest series I've ever cast. It went 6 games. You had Maru getting super far behind and having these incredible comebacks. It was the period of time when Maru hadn't perfected his turtling style, so still was playing active on the map, but still had the, like, he hadn't perfected getting there, but he had perfected the late game. So it was super, super cool. But since then, they've tied in a WTL, or WTL versus the world, excuse me, event in early 2022. And then it's been 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 2-0, 2-0, 3-0 for Serral. Serral's won the last 7 meetings. In the last end of the final 3 meeting, or the previous 3 meetings that have happened, of course, in the this last year, August, September, Maru hasn't taken a single map. It's been 7-0. Serral's on a 7-0 map run against Maru. So it's going to be interesting to see here what Maru has in store for us. Of course, in the Masters Coliseum, in that best of 5, the most recent time they played, Serral had some weird builds. Oh, they were so cool. He had in game 3 of that series, he had ultras popping at like 7 minutes. No, it was like 8 minutes actually, but even still, insanely fast ultra timing. Now, of course, this is Raduset. This is its own type of weirdness. So Maru going for a very quick third base. Again, trying to greed out as much as possible, because you really only have one spot you need to defend for the most part. Certainly, you can drop a Nidus, and Zergs have been loving that against Protoss players, going and dropping a Nidus in the third base, dropping a Nidus in the main base, dropping a Nidus in the main and the third, dropping Lings on both sides if you're Scarlet against Estrella, and just really causing some havoc. But for now, and that really doesn't seem like what's going to happen here. Is, of course, Serral, he's actually, the interesting thing is he's taking his third base on the outside. I feel like generally we're seeing the third base get taken on the inside. And by the way, curious to see, so we're seeing him go and he's mining the minerals out and the wall, which I think is really important in this matchup if you're worried about a tank push, which I think you absolutely should if you're worried about Maru. And you mine that out. Oh, is that just what this is? Huh. That shows some prep work right there, because it looks like Serral has this idea that if you mine out one mineral patch and put a creep tumor in that hex, you're going to go and you're going to get creep on the other side. You can get creep on the north side. Now, I don't know if that's true, actually, and I'm not seeing it spread just yet. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's some prep work on the map here. Serral's done the math. He's got that figured out. So really, really fancy crew spread coming out of Serral in this game. That's super cool. Big fan. And now, because he's getting crew spread on that side, it feels a little bit safer to take that base as a honestly not even that fast of a fourth base, all things considered, but you know, faster than a 6-minute fourth, certainly. And well, the game goes on. The other thing I'm a bit surprised, I think, is that Maru, he hasn't built any cyclones here. He hasn't added them on because, again, cyclones are very good in this matchup right now. You get two, you go to like 2 and 4 instead of 6 Hellions. You get like 2 cyclones. Okay. The magic, the memes. Maru is aware of the trick too, so he just scans it out, kills the creep tumor, and that creep spread on the side of the rock is not going to work out particularly well, which is a bit sad because it was fancy. But look at this. Okay. We got a Spire on the way from Serral, and God, I love this. This makes me so happy. So I think, and I have long thought, and I think many people will agree, that going this style, going Mutiling Bane against Bio, is by far the best way to play the game of StarCraft. Or is the most exciting way to play. I'm not going to say it is the most optimal way to play, because of course Hydroling Bane is very good. Ling Bane is very good against early pushes. You can play Roaches if you're worried about Terran aggression. In general, you know, it's not that big of a deal. You can absolutely go and do a bunch of stuff. But Mutiling Bane versus Bio is, I mean, it just sparks so much joy. I think back to when I got back into the game and it Heart of the Swarm, where we just had these just parade pushes against Mutiling Bane, but Maru here dropping on the 4th base right as it finishes. Queens are going to have to rotate over, but they're a little slow, so damage done already. And then Maru just picks up, runs away. Very happy with the way this game is going. We do have to point this out, though. It's 28 Lings on the map. Serral has built absolutely nothing. He's built Queens, he's built drones, and he's built structures, and that is just about it. He really hasn't done all that much. So at this point, he's getting into mutas very quickly. 1-1 on the way. Baneley speed's done. Okay, so he's gotten himself up to where he wants to be, and now just has to be careful that this aggression coming out of Maru is not going to kill him too much. But this is so wide open, and pushing through this angle as a Bio player just feels so bad. You can't really set up the concaves. It's just a massive surround waiting to happen. But Serral, he doesn't want to engage with these mutas. He really... This is the time that Maru's trying to hit. When your mutas are out, right as the mutas pop, trying to go and punish the Zerg player. So this 5th base is dead. I don't think there's going to really be all that much to save it. And, well, Serral's going to try. Yeah, the base is dead. Okay. As the base falls down, his Liberator continues to try to be obnoxious. And the Spores are chasing things around, but Maru's got a drop on the bottom side here. So all of a sudden, it really is starting to pick up just actually a pretty significant amount. But mutas find the 3rd base. There's no missile turret. There's no defense here. But Maru tries to stim on top of the front as well, understanding that maybe there's not a lot here where the Banelings are, and that is, for the moment, going to force things out. But meanwhile, Serral's getting so much damage. 21 dead SCVs. And Maru desperately has to return back home. I feel like he should have figured this out. I feel like he should have sniffed something out that just... Serral had nothing on the map. He had about 20 Lings. He really wasn't showing any sort of ground army. And if that's the case, if your opponent's showing nothing, you gotta assume that there's some tech on the way. But I guess Maru didn't see enough to realize that there was nothing, is I guess the way to say that. So 25 SCVs are dead. He's still on 61, so he's okay there. He's got his 4th base on the way. Feels like he's mostly stabilized, but losing a couple more Marines. A muta go. Oh, that's a nice trap. A couple more mutas go down. What's our muta count at right now? I'd love for the observer to show us. I don't know. So 2 mutas died. If I'm Serral, I'm pretty happy about those odds. 2 mutas for, what was that? 25 SCVs. Yeah, you take those. You absolutely take those. And behind this, Maru, he's got his 4th base up now. He's starting to drop once again. Wintermines this time, and there's no detection, but the Lings are on top of things, and Wintermines... Okay, no, they're going to go off after all onto the muta flock. No, just a couple drones and didn't even soften up a muta. So 3 workers go down. That's something. But again, we don't have drilling claws, so this is not the most impactful thing. And where'd that medevac go? Observer. Observer. We had it. We had 2 more muta. Yeah, okay. Okay. I don't know where the other Wintermines went, but they went somewhere. And I guess they were killed. But the observer didn't want to show... The observer knew. This is just a smart observer. They knew that nothing was going to happen. They knew that it was just going to be a nothing burger. The Wintermines weren't going to find any value, so why show it to us? Why provide us with that information? It's not necessary. Anti-missile turrets are going down. I do like Maru, by the way, just building a ton of them. This is one of those things where you'll see Terran players go and they're like, I don't need missile turrets. I got one. It's okay. But first of all, red, it's massive and you do not rotate fast. But second of all, it's just minerals. You're on 4 bases. You're mining 3,000 minerals a minute. Yeah, it slows down a couple Marines or two, but realistically, I'd rather build 5 missile turrets than lose 27 SCVs. I'm just saying. I feel like the math there works out pretty nicely in the favor of the Terran. Just a little bit. But Maru. Finally, he's got, well, +2 armor on the way. Doesn't matter as much, but more importantly, he's got Thors on the map. He's got 3 Thors on the way. He's got 3-3 on the way. And I'd like to see Ghosts getting added in, which seems weird because you're like, Ghosts, really? Ghosts against mutas are really solid. They do tons of damage because they're light units, of course. Oh, Widowmine, big burrow there. Only 5, but a lot of lings fall at the same time. And honestly, when you talk about these Widowmine drops, killing off 20, 30 lings or something is pretty nice. It's not as good as killing 20 or 30 drones, certainly not, but you're still pretty okay with it. Now there's the Ghost Academy on the way, is on the bottom side here. Okay, it's a dead Viking. Doesn't do all that much, but Maru does scare the mutas back just a little bit. Now we have Serral. I mean, he's trying to be on the map, but this game has... I'm going to say that Maru has successfully slowed the game down quite a bit. He took tons of damage on the muta reveal. I think it was like 27 dead SCVs, a couple more since then, but a third of Maru's economy went down for just a second. So Maru had to go back up, but he did get some damage on the multi-prong. He's had time to get, I mean, ridiculous missile turret numbers. I said I like, 4 or 5 or something to be careful there, but that was like 7 on the third base, and well, Serral's still finding a little bit of damage. Drips and Travis. I like this hold position there on the Xel'Naga. I mean, eventually Banelings will crunch through and there's going to be some dead units, but nice trading there coming out of Maru. And now the Widowmine. Oh, okay, it's not going to find much of anything, but 6 dropper lords. And this is actually super cool. So what we're going to see here, yeah, exactly, it's what our observer's showing us. We're going to see, what is that? 6 dropper lords, 48. Yeah, we're going to see 48 lings in 6 dropper lords into that third base. It's going to tear down all the static defense and then the mutas can fly in. That being said, though, this army out of Maru is pretty scary here. And if he can get a push going at the same time, 48 lings that's a significant, and all the mutas as well, is a significant component of your army supply. So you have to be very, very careful if you're Serral, if you're going to commit to that one. But for now, Maru's just posturing. He's not on the map. He's not doing actual damage to Serral, and that means that this drop's going to go off pretty much without a hitch. Maru doesn't have the Xel'Naga. He does have a sensor tower, though. And is he going to react? He is, but it's a little bit too slow, a little bit too late. Missile turrets are going to get one of these overlords. They're going to get a second one as well. So some of the lings are dead. Absolutely here, but the missile turret count is really what's going to start to get punished here. Mutas, though, they're not going to fly in just yet because the lings, well, everything's here. And I think the lings, they just want to kill all the missile turrets. SCVs are nice. It's knocking the missile turrets down. That's the most important thing. Now a scan's going to get forced as well as the lings burrow on up. And the mutas, where are they? Okay, they're just in the middle of the map. They're not really going to go for that power. They're not going to go for that multi-prong attack. And at the end of the day, 44 lings for a couple missile turrets. I mean, it's 12 missile turrets dead, but I think I'm okay with that if I'm Maru. That wasn't the game ending. That was really an attempt to end the game from Serral, where I thought he was going to dive in and kind of keep his mutas postured or do something else, but he really doesn't find the values. Now, oh, these ghosts have to be careful. Widowmines are going to burrow up in time, and a decent amount. Banelings kill the Widowmine, so it's not going to be that big of a deal here. And this Baneling count is significant. Now, it's not as powerful as it would have been a month ago. They have a little bit less HP now. They don't do quite as much damage with +2 and +3, and then that is something. But still a lot of Banes. It is so many Banelings in this game. Is now Serral doing his due diligence, knocking some of the Widowmines down. But now we're seeing the slow push out of Maru, as this game has, well, I don't want to say stagnated, because it has been a fairly active game. Just it's a game that Maru has been able to force into his bailiwick. Although, in fairness, when we say that, that is the longest ghost death scream, I've ever heard. Ah! is about what it was. But anyway, we talked about how this is Maru's bailiwick. It's nice scan there on the infestor, but it's not going to kill it. Second scan, do we have it? No. Okay. But anyway, this is Maru's bailiwick, but of course on the flip side, Serral's the greatest late game player we've ever produced. So to say, this is finally Maru's getting to some place he's happy. I mean, yes, but even still, I don't know that I still don't know that I like Maru facing Serral in the late game. Like, this still does not spark tremendous joy. That being said, 16 mutas, 32 army supply are not incredibly powerful at this stage in the game. Once the ghosts are out, you can snipe them down, and mutas really lose a lot of their power. This run by the bottom side. This is an orbital. I guess on the idea that late game lings and banelings or whatever, they crush a planetary regardless of what happens, so it doesn't really matter. But the orbital does get punished a little bit. Now, the planetary will go down, and we just see how powerful orbitals are, or planetaries aren't, especially with building armor. Is the thing is now ultras and lings trying to get on top of this army. Maru's going to kite backwards as much as he can. Not a lot of splash damage to the banelings are a bit of a problem, but even still, the ghosts kite everything out. Now the ultras go down, and Maru takes a pretty banger fight. Not gonna lie, that was really, really solid. Did not lose a lot there. It's not uncommon to see a Zerg player that, they take the fight and their supply dips down, and then it goes back up, and snipes go down, and a couple mutas, they dance around a little bit too long. Again, you see the Terran player dip to like 150 supply or something, and then they start to rebound on an even fight where the Zerg remaxes instantly. Maru never dipped below like 190 supply. Oh, fungal on the backside there on the ghost. Now EMP makes sure that there's no follow-up, and now with all the lings, the banes, they were just a little bit too slow on the follow-up. So at the end of the day, that could have been really, really big. Instead, it's just going to be kiting backwards as long as you can. Ghosts are going to kite out, split up, and well, they got cloaked, so it's going to be okay. Now the missile turret line is going to fall down, and that's annoying. Maru's not too happy about that. But given the choice between losing his entire ghost count and losing just a couple hundred minerals, again, he'll take the mineral number. He absolutely takes the mineral number. But I would love to see where we are in terms of resources lost in this game. I think that's really important to take a look at. I get the sense that this is not the gap is not as big as you would like to see it if you're a Terran. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting right now. It feels like the trades have actually been fairly good for Serral for right now, as the planetary on the gold base tries to go down, but Serral takes the fight at the same time. Even still, I mean, the high ground, the widow mines, everything ghost kiting away. This army, I mean, this fight coming out of Maru, we talked about how I felt like the trades were going pretty good for Serral thus far. Well, that was a fantastic fight for Maru. Yeah, he lost 10 SCV somewhere, but the planetary is going to kill off the rest of these lings. Mutas are going to arrive now, and this planetary seems like it may go down, but mules are going to get dropped to repair it. Oh, Maru. You're so good. So good. And now a little bit of economic damage going down that last fight. Yeah, Maru, he killed twice as much. 5,500 minerals to 2,500 or something. I didn't see the gas numbers. In the last couple minutes or so out of Maru, even as his bank is not as big as Serral's, last little bit of time for Maru has been very, very good. And now, I mean, this Liberator count, what's it, 4 Liberators, I think, that one-shot mutas. So he's at the point where this Liberator count is very scary. Now again, a fight coming in from Maru. Fungal from the backside as well, but again, it's not going to last long enough. I mean, well, actually, no, maybe it will. The Banelings get massive connections here in Serral. He's trying to crash in. There's a planetary to defend. Banelings trying to get on top of the SCV, so there's no repair. And the Corruptors in the sky are actually doing so much. Even still, though, Maru, he's going to hold on. He loses 13 SCVs, but in all honesty, he's got a ridiculous number of command centers, and he's going to be fine. And it's funny, we can't see what happened in that last fight because they're showing it. Oh, Dead Infestor, very nice. Dead Infestor, there we go. Because they're showing it to us for such a quick time, but also because the fight counts like the last 3 fights or something. So it's in minerals in the last couple minutes, it's been 11,000 in the good for Maru. He's killed 11,000. Serral's killed, I think, 7. So again, we're starting to see the better trades. As we see Mars bank is again still pretty small. He's struggling to max out, but Serral's bank was like 8k 5k. Now it's 3k 4k, or 3k 3 just about 3k 3.5k actually. The economy of Serral is not, or the bank of Serral is not nearly as good as it once was, and Maru is just slowly taking the map. And of course, also Serral's had that gold base for a while. He got it killed briefly, but he's had it for a while. And that means it's going to start to mine out. Maru's just taking his, so he's going to have a massive, to quote Zombie Grub, a shot of adrenaline into his late game production here just a little bit as we see that income. It's going to start to skyrocket a little bit. Now the base is dead as well, and a couple dead overseers, which we're not at the point yet where you have to start counting your money and counting your quarters to see how many overseers you can get. But even still, I mean, this is... Maru's put himself in a pretty solid position in this game. Serral does have a counterattack on the right side. That's a lot of Lingbane. But is it worth trading a base here? Honestly, I don't know. And even still, the Planetary is going to kill a lot of these Lings as Bailey's get on top of the Marines, which is maybe not the best kiting. Marauders should have been forward right there, but this base will fall now. I don't think there's anything stopping it. The Planetary of Maru has died, and he's not really going to reap the benefits of the gold base as much. Serral finds himself supply blocked. He's going to lose the gold base as well. And, you know, actually, I do think this is something that matters more to Maru than it does to Serral, because Serral's gold base was kind of mined out. And Serral's, I mean, Maru just got his. So, from that perspective, I think you're a little bit happier as Maru's the Widow mines, killing off single Lings there. Nice job there, Serral, clearing the minefield in a really, really beautiful way. Oh, there we go. Better win mine shots. This is, man. I'm so sad we haven't had Rider Set games earlier, because honestly, this is shaping up to be a pretty cool match. So, because Rider Set's a massive map. I mean, we can see how big it is. It's just absolutely insane. It's massive. It's so big. It's gargantuan. The Fungal from the backside, though, Serral. Finally, that Infestor's been sharking around for the last 5 minutes. But even still, he's going to force Maru back. The Ghosts are still here. They're going to kite away Widow Mines on the backside, and somehow... I see these fights and I'm like, holy crap, Serral should just win the game. And then Maru, I mean, we saw a little shake of the head there from Serral. It feels like Maru should end the game. And then he doesn't. Or that Serral should be ending the game on those fights, and then Maru survives anyways. He's just only ever a single Fungal, and it's coming from the backside, and it's opportunistic, but that also means that Serral's army, it's not like he's attacking and then dropping the Fungal. He's dropping the Fungal because it's clumped, and then he goes and attacks. And that's kind of slow. That's not as active. But Serral has been able to redevelop his bank a little bit. He's back up to 4,000 minerals, even if his gas count continues to decrease slowly. These Infestors just out of scan range, sharking around again and again and again and again. We're seeing how hard it is for the Terran to push out on the map. Nice scan right there. Fungal goes down, but it's not going to get much done. I mean, you might as well cast the spell right because it's there. But it's all good. And this is, I understand why it's a bit cheesy in ZvP, and I can also see why Steadfast says that he doesn't want any part of this map. But I'm looking at this game, and I'm looking at the promise of late games on this map, and I am rapidly falling in love, because you look at it. So the couple bases are very easy to defend. It is a late game map. It does force the late game. That being said, the middle of the map is so wide open that while it forces late game, it's hard for Terran to play the late game. So it's really cool here is now, while we're going to see massive Fungals coming in, this might just kill the game, though, because Serral, he finally found his opportunity. And this is the precipitous supply drop that we're looking for. This is finally Maru getting cracked wide open. 90 supply. All of a sudden, Corruptors in the air, killing off all the Liberators. And yeah, Maru's got some semblance of an army, but not only did he lose the fight. Lings on his bottom right side base also killed a ton. And Serral's mining for one of Maru's bases. We're going to see the Mule Hammer because Maru has to reinforce, but finally, Serral's got the fight that he wanted. And I mean, just look at that. He's actually traded better. 1,500 minerals, 1,000 gas. He's traded better than Maru has. And at this point, we know Serral. He's not going to let up on the gas here. Maru is... I don't know that Maru's going to leave the game right now. But we're going to see Maru slowly, ever so slowly, just excised from ripped out from the map, just not allowed to play the game. And look at what Serral's doing. He's not transitioning into some later game composition. He's not going and moving into Broodlords or something. No. He's just getting ultras. He understands that he's got the game won right now, so long as it survives. And now 2 bases, 2... Oh, wow. 2 town halls go down. The Fungal's whiff, though. 13 more dead SCVs. 70 workers to 35. 127 army supply to 83. Infestor's looking for more Fungals, but I don't think they're going to find it. Not just yet. Oh, yeah, it gets some medevac. Not a ton. But now Maru, he's lost 2 bases. He might be mining on that right side base, but I think that's just about it. I don't really see any... I mean, I guess there are minerals on the rocks in his third, but I don't really see a lot of mining elsewhere. We're going to have to see what he's going to be able to do as now Lings get on top of this army once again. And the Baneleys, they're a little bit slow, and the concave of these ghosts is really, really nice. There's a little bit of detection now. The Ultras get on top of them, so their snipes just are not going to complete here. Even still, I mean, Maru, if this was a more even game, I'd say this was a pretty decent fight, I think. But Maru's mining less than 1,000 minerals a minute. He's mining out of like 1 Vespene geyser, maybe 2. He doesn't have a lot here at all. He's gonna try to take the gold with an orbital, which is just shows you how bad this game is going. He's dropping a ton of mules on the orbital, which is again, mules don't benefit. Gold bases don't benefit from mules. It's just money, and Maru's dead. What a game from Serral. I don't know how I feel about it, but Maru in the upper left, in the blue, he's down a map, and again, he needs 1 to force us to an ace. Well, not even to force us to an ace match. He needs 1 map to win this series for Onsyde Gaming, dethrone Basilisk a little bit. What are our WTL standings actually? Because I think Basilisk is... Are they in first place? If they're not in first, they're at the top of the bracket. They are 7-0, but they're not in first place because they have less points. And that's just how the WTL works. Shopify 7-1. They got 20 points though. And Basilisk has had to go to ace match against Liquid. They've had to go the ace match against Starlight Twinkle. I forgot about that one. Yeah, Wayne took a map and that forced the ace match. And Rewrite took a map off of Rainer as well, which is insane. And they had to go to ace match against Mystery Gaming as well, because for whatever reason, Rainer's been Mr. 50-50 in the WTL, which is wild. But anyway. So, because Basilisk has had their fair share of, has had their fair share of ace matches, they're only, despite not dropping a single series, they're in 3rd place. Onsyde, they have less ace matches, even if they are 6-1. Shopify, the map they lost, I think they might have gone to an ace, but otherwise, no need anywhere else. You know, they really have not aced all that much. But I wonder if we see Maru go mech. I don't know that Side Delta is the best map for it. That would be, can never remember the name of this map. The green map of the speed zones. Let me pull that up. But anyway, for now, nothing particularly crazy out of Maru. This is a Reaper expand. He's putting some pressure on, but that's it. So I am thinking of... I think it's Solaris, right? Yeah. Yeah. So Solaris, I think, is actually a pretty banger mech map, because if you take the triangular third, you have the tiniest chokes to defend. It's actually pretty gross. Not gonna lie, it's pretty gross. But I mean, we've seen mech on Side Delta a couple times. It's not the worst. It's a little awkward because there's a high ground third base and a high ground natural, but they're not on the same level, or there's low ground between them, so it's a little bit harder to defend properly. You got a low ground, high ground, low ground, or high ground, low ground, high ground to deal with. Is now Speedlings are going to find their way in, but Hellions are here. So Serral's going to snipe a Marine. He's going to get a Scout of the Natural. That's just about it. He's not going to get much more. Yeah, Ling doesn't get in the main base. So, I mean, it's valuable to see that the first couple units out of the factory are in fact Hellions. They're not Cyclones. That's actually a pretty reasonable scout, now that I think about it, because a lot of Terran players have been going for Hellions. They have been doing this idea of building a bunch of Hellions and running across, or building 2 Cyclones and then building Hellions and using it to snipe Queens and do other things. So that's pretty nice. Oh, Serral. There is no one in the world that's better at scouting than Serral is. I mean, he's going to see Cloaked Banshees. Maru considers diving in here. Ling's, though, ready to meet him. And, oh, it's such a trap from Serral. He's going to get all, I'm not going to say all the Hellions, but most of the Hellions. Going to knock them right on down. A couple more Hellions will arrive, and the Lings will fall, but that's a lot of map control out of Maru's hands. That's a lot of pressure out of Maru's hands, and he just come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly, and well, Maru was absolutely the fly. Maru was absolutely the fly in this case, and behind this, we're seeing Bio again. I really did think I was going to see Mech at least one game in this series, but apparently not. It's just going to be for that Bio, and now, well, Baneling Nest goes down, but more importantly, I want to see how much gas Serral gets. Because he played Mutas in the last game, and I think part of it was just, it's a crazy Muta map. It's so good for it. But, Banshee's going to get a Drone, but takes a lot of damage in the exchange. So Banshee's not going to get much done. I was going to say, but I don't know that Site Delta is as much. Yeah, it seems like it's just going to be Ling Bane for now. Although we don't have Evos. Serral, he's only on 3 gas, which again, no, excuse me. Yeah, he's on 4 gas. Okay. And there's the Evos going down. So, yeah, it seems like Ling Bane for the most part. Hydro Ling Bane eventually, probably, once he gets the 4th base up and running and goes up to 5-6 gas, or 5 gas really is kind of the Hydro Ling Bane idea. But he's just going to stay on Ling Bane for the time being, I guess, which is solid. It's an excellent if you have the macro for it, it's an excellent composition. You can work out. It can work very, very nicely for you. You just have so much map control and surrounds and tons of burst damage. And against a Terran player that is, and also they build super quickly. So if you're seeing, say, an 8 racks out of the Terran or something like that, or a highly aggressive move, you can trade and have another army very quickly. Which is not necessarily as much the case for, say, Hydroling Bane or, I mean, Mutiling Bane against an 8-Rax is just horrendous. But Hydroling Bane or Roach Ravager or something, they just take a little longer to produce. So that, of course, can always be really nice. But Maru, first move out on the map. Mainly speed done in 10 seconds, but not just yet. And even still, Maru, I think you got an Overlord. That's it. The Queens and the Lings are here, so that's going to be fine. And honestly, Maru doesn't have his upgrades. He doesn't have 1-1, doesn't have combat shields. He just has stim. So this is, the Marines right now are trying to do what the Hellions should have done earlier, and that is curtail the creep. But we can see the impact of losing all those Hellions early on. It's 7 minutes in, and Serral's creep spread is halfway across the map. Now Hydroden on the way as we see Maru getting ready for his push, but this game already, and I hesitate to say this because it feels a little weird, but this game is already starting to feel like one that's going to go a little bit late. I don't know, it's just a feeling. But anyways, Maru is going to try to push that bottom side, and this is a nice sieged up position for the Terran, absolutely. But Serral, he's already got his surround ready. Like, the man is too good. He's got a ton of Lings, and I assume some Banelings on that bottom side. The moment that he feels comfortable, the moment that he feels ready, which is right now, 1-1's done. I would assume he's going to try to take the fight, but Banelings not get knocked down for the most part, and Maru saves a lot of this army. And this is still a pretty scary pushing position. The tanks are well defended. So Maru's going to continue the push, and Serral, 11 Banelings are going to morph in. Another round of reinforcements from Maru going to try to find their way into the other side of the map. And Maru's got to be smelling something. The army here is not all that big, but here comes the Serral from every single side. And Maru just picks up. He's got to run away, knocking the Banelings down the backside. Splits aren't good enough. Not at all, and the tanks have fallen, but Maru's reinforcements, they're going to be enough to stabilize. Even as 3 tanks go down, I mean, that takes a lot of the power out of this push. It's still there, though, and I think I expected to see Serral actually break the back of that push instead of going and just trade out. But he's doing it again. I mean, just look at this Ling movement coming out of Serral. It's beautiful. Though I guess this one's going to be for run by instead, but Maru's not mass reinforcing. He really is keeping a lot of his army back at home, so any sort of Ling run by from Serral is not getting all that much done. As now the Queens are mostly out of energy here, and the Lings, they're going to look for that surround, but the tank's already on siege, getting ready to run away here. Maru understands the straits that he's in, and the bio is going to last long enough. Tank dies, though. Unfortunate there. That's not exactly what Maru wanted. He's going to try to drop in the main base. These Hydras are not going to be enough to scare him away, I don't think. One medevac will fall. Second medevac. Never mind. Those medevacs were low. I underestimated Hydra DPS. Yeah. Not great. It's like, you know, it's just 2 Hydras. He can go and kill this. This seems great. But no. Those were 2 full medevacs that went down, or at least 1 full medevac that went down. That doesn't spark a lot of joy. Now on the north side here, Maru gets a base. That's really nice. He loses some Marines for it. But now this is a 4-hatch Zerg, a 5-base Zerg. But yeah, 4-base Zerg, 5th base on the way versus a 4-base Terran. That's not bad. And look at this high ground. Okay, Maru, that's abusive. That is just wrong. I mean, gross. I need a shower. I just took a shower this morning, but I need a shower already. That is just, ugh. That feels so bad. But now Serral's gonna handle it, so the tank will go down. And I didn't realize this at the time, but Maru's +2 attack was so much slower than his armor. And I think in the balance of power, if you are going to delay one upgrade on accident, you'd rather delay your attack upgrade, not your armor. Or you'd rather delay your armor upgrade, not your attack. The attack means you kill Banelings faster. Armor means, well, you still die to Banelings just as fast. It's really not all that great. You really want to make sure that you get your... What's the word? Excuse me. You really want to make sure you get your attack upgrades as quick as possible. Really, because just because of how low HP all the Zerg units are. But Maru's got his 2-2 now. 3-3 should get started soon. Ghost Academy on the way. And I mean, the splits are they're not great to start. Marauder's not at the front lines, but Maru, even still, he's not broken down. Not just yet. We have no splash really to buttress this. So this is pressure. I don't think he's going to find his way up to the high ground. Doesn't really seem all that reasonable. A big drop into the main base now. Okay, this might have some promise here. Even as the medevac goes down, most of the bio's gonna get out, but I mean the Lings are just on top of it immediately. This is a one-way trip. And, well, maybe actually the Lings... no. I mean, it trades out. I thought there might have been a moment where the bio kind of crunches through the Lings on 20% HP or something, and as this base will fall. And then they start to shred because there's just not enough DPS. But that is not the case. This 2-2 Lings, they were enough because they got full surrounds from the start. The bio dropped into them. They were unloading into full surrounds, and... That's just not enough. It's just not a great way to play. It really, it does cause, it's pain. It causes a lot of pain for the Terran. Oh, what am I? Nope, you don't get your base, Serral. Sorry. Raise your hand. Type in chat if you type in the comments if you have ever if you've been that Zerg, if you've been that Protoss player that's trying to take a base against the Terran. They just put a Widowmine on your extra base and you don't notice. And you get that base denied, you get your probe, you get your drone denied multiple times. I've been there. It's not fun. As this base of Maru, it's just going to get found on out here. Maru's been so active on the map that, well, Serral, because he's been unlocked a little bit here, it's just a dead base. man, these players are so tightly matched. It feels like it's a minor advantage for Serral, just based on the last game and how this game has gone. But in general, you can just look at this game and just realize how tightly matched these two players are, which is super cool. It's exciting because it means that we have a game that is going late, that is going the ghost mech style that Maru is so good at. But it's not one of those games where, I mean, this is a nice fight for Maru. This is not one of those games where it's just boring. It's just like, yeah, we're not going to interact for 20 minutes. No, Maru's been pushing. Maru has been fighting hard over the last 14 minutes of this game, and he's been inviting value sometimes. He's been denying faces. He's staying maxed out for the most part. But Serral's not allowing him to kill him. Oh, I mean, nice splits there, Serral, I guess. 5 drones go down is not what I would consider the best splits necessarily, but anyway, you know, it's a try, it's an attempt. But now 3-3 and a +3 armors on the way for Maru. So he's got his bio units are going to get a little bit stronger. His Widow Mines are going to survive a little bit longer. Medivacs as well, which I think is really important when we talk about this game that Maru's playing. And because Serral's going lurker play, I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. His Widow Mine dead. Because if there's one style that I say that Maru is very good at breaking, gotta be the lurker style. His ghost control is just so nice. But now another counterattack's gonna find a nascent planetary. This should just get canceled and lifted. Yeah, there we go. It's canceled at the very least. It should be. Oh, Maru's too smart for us. He knows he doesn't even have to lift. Okay. So the planetary now gonna get remade once again. The missile turrets on the map, I mean, I understand why they're there. They make it a little bit harder for overseers to run in, but it's just money that Maru's losing that I don't think is super necessary. I don't know. Anyway, 12 SCVs have gone down, as well as the space is just not allowed to stay up. I mean, I can see sensor towers. Sensor towers would be pretty solid, but again, this planetary, Maru's going to try to stick the landing here and get the planetary up, even if he loses a couple SCVs for it. Okay, yeah. He's going to get that up, and Lings will die on the response. So not bad there, Maru. Very well done. But now Maru's got his 3-3-3. +3 armor. 3-3 on the bio. And that's a pretty solid position to find yourself in. Especially when Serral doesn't have his attack upgrade yet. Whether Maru is able to really take advantage of this timing, though, that is a very different question. As now Liberators going to siege up here onto Maru's third, but there's a scan. There are Liberators. The Lurkers will fall. Not that big of a deal. And behind this, 2 more starports. So we are really gonna see Maru commit to, I assume, just mass Liberator play in this game. Now the base on the bottom side will go down. There's no building armor just yet, and these are +2 Lurkers, +2 Cracklings. Yeah, good luck on that one. That one's not going to last all that long, but we have Fusion Core on the way, so Liberator range on the docket eventually. And now we're starting to get to the game where banks, they become a little bit more relevant. It's not just everyone spending money as they get it for the most part. We talk about how the late game is such a good thing. Such a powerful thing for Maru. And it absolutely is. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we saw what happened last game. Serral just ground Maru down in about 25 minutes and eviscerated him. Killed him dead. We're going to have to see whether that's going to happen here, because now, I mean, we're at the point where there are bird infestors all over the place, where the creep spread's not incredible, but Serral has pretty much one more base he could take. But for the most part, he's got all of his bases. He's Widow Mine. Not going to get much done. Nice splits there out of Serral. And I guess the other thing I have to talk about with these missile turrets, and that's probably the better way to talk about it, is that the missile turrets aren't necessarily for the overseers in the middle of a fight. They are, I think, solely to catch all the random infestors that are on the map. To make sure that well, any sort of okay, these are a couple dead overseers, to make sure that any sort of random infestor play won't catch him off guard. But now Serral just wants to run right up the gullet here, and the wall is open, so 12 SCVs go down, and now Cracklings into the main base. into the production of the Terran. This, my friends, is a problem. This is not something that Maru can allow to stand or really even come back from easily. We're going to see production go down, and now, well, Lurkers in the middle of the map, they're going to get killed. So Maru catches that one, and the Planetary on the north side. But again, the big thing here is theoretically, a lot of the production was killed. I think 2 barracks died. It could be worse, but it could be better too. And now this base is dead as well. So Maru loses a base. He loses. He's gonna lose his building armor upgrades. He's gonna lose high sec auto tracking and neo steel plating. He is going to lose those. And that, well, maybe he keeps one of them alive. Maybe he keeps building armor alive. I guess. Okay, so it seems like building armor should survive, but high sec auto tracking will not be as good. That means planetaries aren't as effective. They don't have as long range. They just don't have as long range. So they're not going to be able to kill as many lynxes. Another base goes down, and it's crazy. You look at this game, and it's like, oh, okay, Maru's trading pretty well. He's taking his bases. He's in a good spot. And then Serral finds one move, and he cracks the game wide open. And yeah, this is a game where Maru has 3,000 minerals, and is okay in that perspective, but he's only got 700 gas. His gas count's not incredible. And his production's not where he wants it to be either. So this is turning into one of those games again where Maru and Serral play evenly for forever, but we're also starting to see why Serral hasn't dropped a single map against Maru in the last 3 series, in the last 8 games now. Oh, fungal on the backside here. Serral's gonna look for it once again. And we talked last game about how sometimes the fungals were a little bit too early. This one does not feel like that, but the Liberators are actually shredding. The Liberators are killing everything, and I thought that was going to be really good for Serral. The fungal was timed up perfectly. It was as the army was engaging, but Maru just kills it anyways. The Liberators +1 attack, but +3 armor, just not dying all that quickly. They killed all the Hydras. Everything's dead. And now Maru is primed to do the exact same thing to Serral that Serral did to Maru. All of a sudden, this game is turned on its head, and I say this with the full understanding that Serral has a massive bank, and it's still not easy to fight, but this Liberator number, I don't think we have a Spire. We're at the point right now where this Liberator number is honestly pretty uncontestable, and it really is going to have to turn into this idea where Serral's going to have to win on the counterattack for a time being. He can't win a straight up fight for a while. Honestly, I'm not even sure when he's going to be able to win a straight up fight. His tech is not where it needs to be, although these medevacs need to boost back on home. Maru. Not great. But he is on triple Stargate, or a triple Starport, so he should be able to, well, I would say he should be able to reproduce those. He has no gas. He has no money. And that is such a massive deal. Because even as Maru is that's a great shot from Serral's not mining gas. Now, it doesn't matter now. He's got 4,000 gas in the bank, and he's getting, okay, so he's getting some gas geysers. He's going to be okay. I was going to say, you know, it doesn't matter right now, but this is absolutely something that can trade out very quickly. But now Serral tries to make this fight happen. Liberators aren't sieged just yet. Hydra's trying to get on top of this, but let's just see how quickly they melt. Ghosts flip back on the backside, and again, Serral can't break Maru, but Maru is broke. And Serral does have a bank to fall back on, a bank that Maru quite simply does not have. So from that perspective, you might say, yeah, you know, it's okay, actually. It's pretty good. I feel like that fight, as inefficient as it may have been for Serral, I feel like that fight was really good. Just because in this game of attrition, Serral doesn't have a lot of money. Now a dead infestor, okay. Maru's going to find one of them. Maru's got to find some way to maintain this north side base. Snipes go down on the lurkers eventually. Ghost will fall though. And now yeah, no. Oh, Serral, you cannot take a straight up fight into this number of Liberators. It's just, it's straight up impossible. At least improbable. Just not very good. So another base of Serral's gets knocked down here, but of course he's got the bottom side on the way. And Maru's going to drop a scan. Oh, nice Widow Mine. Now Serral's bank is down a little bit. 2,000 gas instead of 4. But oh no, this army's caught in the middle of the map here. The stragglers of Maru's army. And I love how Serral's playing this game. This is actually so It's not just smart, not just well played. It's so high level. So what he's doing is he's forcing Maru around, which is what you want to do, right? Late game. But then he understands that Maru he's kind of he's kind of F2ing around a little bit, which is fair because, again, his army is much more of a death ball than it is something that handles, that handles itself in smaller numbers. And then Serral realizes that. It's like, okay, Maru, you're kind of F2ing your army around just a little bit. And unless you're really smart about it, make sure that you stay in a clump. There will be stragglers of this army. You tend to fan out. You tend to be aligned. So I'm going to go and I'm going to fight the stragglers of the army every time. I'm going to catch the tail of your army every single time there's a fight. And that is how I'm going to win this, because I can't win a straight up fight. That is actually such a smart way to play. That is such a smart way to play it. But now, okay, a little bit more multi-rung this time. Serral on the bottom left side. Observer, bottom left side. He's going to go, and we're going to see a planetary go down. A bunch of SCVs go down. Now, Maru's going to trade on the north side. But again, this is the situation where Serral has a bank. Maru doesn't really. But if Maru could get multiple bases off of this, that's still going to be pretty happy. Oh, this freedom zone, this death zone is disgusting. This should open up 2 bases for Maru to kill right now. He should be able to get both north side bases, because honestly, I don't know how Serral runs through that area. I don't know. I don't think it's possible. I don't think certainly it's not probable. There's no way. So the base on the north side will go down. The base on the north side will also fall. And it feels like Maru might have finally found the position that he's looking for. This death push coming out of Maru. This death push into Serral's happy place. into his high ground, in this position that he wants to find. There's so many queens on the north side, though. Lings are going to look for the surround as well. Serral's going to try to make the break happen right now. Abducts on a couple of these liberators, but it is not no way. Look at the supply of Serral. He was maxed out 30 seconds ago, 5 seconds ago. Everything dies. And now we're going to see lurkers go down, queens go down. I don't feel like I see this mass liberator play work out all that often. It just doesn't feel all that great. Again, they're single target units, but in this game, and because Maru has so many, he went to double starport at like 10 minutes and triple starport like 10 minutes into the game, really capitalizing on his position, on the understanding that, well, I think he realized just a little bit faster about how late this game was going to go. And that meant that his liberator count went uncontestable very quickly. So Serral, at this point, his bank is gone. He's got 100 minerals in the bank. He can't remax. And this game was looking so good for Serral just until it wasn't. He's got 27 workers, 94 army supply, no bank. And no way to rebuild that bank either. Again, he doesn't have the north side bases. They were kind of mined out anyways. And Maru just, in the span of 30 seconds, has seized the bull by the horns here, has just seized this game so hard. 12 in the last 2.5 minutes, killed 12,000, almost 13,000 resources compared to the 5 of his opponent here. Minerals even, as the EMP means that infestor gets nothing done. Now, Maru has to be a little careful. That's a lot of lurkers, and this base is not. Oh yeah, he's gonna hold it. What am I saying here? Liberators are gonna siege up Onsyde. Takes down Basilisk. Maru, as sick as he may be, plays a sick game and takes down Serral.